China's sanctioning of U.S. defense firms. How's it going? We just wanted to take a moment to thank our current subscribers for supporting the channel. Your growing support allows us to bring you better and better videos every day. Our goal is to have this channel be the preferred choice for news, because we not only aim to keep you informed, but also actively involve you in the field of geopolitics. Thank you again for joining us. Now, let's get into the video. Today, we'll be examining China's recent sanctions against U.S. defense companies. You won't want to miss this development: China's sanctioning of U.S. defense firms. The political tensions between China and the United States have reached another level of escalation, with China imposing fines and sanctions against two U.S. defense companies. The world's two largest economies are at odds, and this move is likely to increase the already tense situation between them. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce has added Lockheed Martin Corporation and a subsidiary of Raytheon Technologies Corp. To the list of unreliable entities due to their involvement in arms sales to Taiwan. This move has come after China has long expressed concerns over the United States providing weapons to the island, which China considers to be a part of its territory. The companies have been fined twice the value of their arms sales contracts to Taiwan since September 2020, when the list came into effect. The statement issued by the Ministry of Commerce has also mandated that the companies must pay within 15 days. It is important to note that this is not the first time that China has taken such a step against U.S. companies. In the past, China has imposed fines and sanctions on other U.S. companies for various reasons. The day before the announcement of these sanctions, China had warned that it would retaliate with countermeasures against the United States for violating its sovereignty. It had also blamed the U.S. for the balloon spat, which it claimed had put their ties in jeopardy. Washington claimed that the balloon was spying and therefore shot it down. However, China rebutted this claim by stating that the balloon was, in fact, a civilian airship that was collecting weather data but went off course. This disagreement led to a diplomatic row between the two countries, which escalated to the point that Blinken canceled a planned trip to Beijing in February. According to Dongshu Liu, an accomplished expert in Chinese politics who also serves as an assistant professor at the City University of Hong Kong, the incident was intended to send a strong message to the U.S. government, as well as to the Chinese public. Liu believes that the Chinese government's tough stance on the issue was motivated by a desire to demonstrate its firm position on matters related to national security and territorial integrity. Furthermore, Liu suggests that the economic ramifications of the dispute may not be as significant as its political impact, given that the companies affected by the newly imposed sanctions do not operate in China. While these firms may face some restrictions due to the new regulations, the impact of these limitations is primarily symbolic in nature. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and join the N.D.P. news family. Analyzing the sanctions. As has been the case with previous sanctions imposed against firms and defense companies in the U.S., the newly announced measures are expected to have little direct impact on China. Despite this, the Chinese government has declared that it will ban trade with both companies and prevent any new investment from them in China. In addition, the ministry has stated that if the fines are not paid within 15 days, they may be increased. The Chinese government plans to cancel and prohibit work and residence permits for senior managers in both companies and ban them from entering the country. While this may seem like an extreme measure, it is important to note that China's response has been targeted and restrained, focused primarily on responding to the U.S.'s arms sales to Taiwan, which China has previously protested against. Feng Chucheng, a partner at the independent consultancy Plenum, notes that China's response is consistent with its long-standing policies, with China refraining from weaponizing its sanctions. The Chinese government has threatened to impose sanctions against U.S. entities that threaten its national security in the past. In 2020, it declared that it would impose unspecified sanctions on Boeing Company's defense unit, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon after the U.S. State Department approved arms sales to Taiwan. Beijing previously announced that it was sanctioning two top executives at Boeing and Raytheon over the biggest U.S. weapons deal with Taiwan in almost 2 2 years. However, it did not provide details on the measures. It is worth noting that MOFCOM, Ministry of Commerce, wants to take it slow and experiment with how to implement the new unreliable entity list, says Andy Chen, a senior analyst with Beijing-based consultancy Trivium China. Chen believes that the list was created in haste as a response to US's long-arm jurisdiction, but MOFCOM wasn't ready to deploy it at the time because it lacked the experience and probably personnel to carry it out. Have sanctions like these always been around? Let's take a look at China's past sanctions against U.S. firms. One of the most high-profile examples of China's use of sanctions against U.S. firms came in the aftermath of the U.S. government's decision to sell arms to Taiwan in 2010. In response, China imposed sanctions on U.S. defense firms, including Lockheed Martin and Boeing, which had contracts to sell military hardware to Taiwan. China threatened to cancel the contracts and impose additional penalties on the companies if the arms sales went ahead. The dispute continued for several years, with both sides engaging in tit-for-tat retaliation, and tensions between the two countries remained high. Another instance of China's use of sanctions against U.S. firms came in 2013, when China banned the import of U.S. poultry products, citing concerns over bird flu. The ban was seen as a response to a U.S. investigation into Chinese firms accused of stealing trade secrets. The ban had a significant impact on U.S. poultry farmers, who lost a lucrative export market overnight. The U.S. government and industry groups fought back, arguing that the ban was unfounded and that China was using it as a political tool. In 2018, China imposed tariffs on a wide range of U.S. goods, including soybeans, pork, and automobiles, in response to U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods. The move was seen as a significant escalation in the ongoing trade dispute between the two countries. U.S. farmers and manufacturers were hit hard by the tariffs, as China was one of their largest export markets. The U.S. government responded by imposing its own tariffs on Chinese goods, and the two sides engaged in a protracted and bitter trade war that had significant economic implications for both countries. In addition to these high-profile examples, China has also targeted individual companies and industries with sanctions over the years. For example, in 2015, China fined Qualcomm $975 million for violating anti-monopoly laws, accusing the U.S. semiconductor company of abusing its dominant market position. The move was seen as part of a broader effort by China to promote its own technology industry and reduce reliance on foreign firms. In 2017, China banned several popular U.S. streaming services, including Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, in an effort to promote its own domestic streaming industry. The move was seen as a blow to U.S. entertainment companies, which were increasingly reliant on overseas markets for growth. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to check out our other videos on the channel for more great content. And please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thanks for watching. This has been N.D.P News, signing off.